is. What you want, it will deliver the best that it can. And consider that we've got conscious, subconscious, and unconscious at work here. Now, this is not mind's fault, mind you. This is just what mind is and how it's constructed. The misunderstanding is yours. In placing such faith, such reliance in the 3D mind or brain, you went afield from all that is. You took a detour. You stepped down into the mind for a while. Your heart is calling you home now. Are you listening to it? Can you hear, can you feel the heart's call? Those too deeply enmeshed in mind will either not hear it or just brush it aside as unimportant, irrelevant to the reality that they know. The prove it to me or I won't believe crowd is found here. And that's okay. I mean, that's their choice. And it's not, excuse me, it's not up to us to disabuse them of this. If people choose not to listen to us, that's just fine. If they reject what you say, though, just leave them alone. Don't get into arguments trying to convince them. It's all quite pointless. Besides, you're not recognizing their sovereignty if you're trying to do that. That's something that will come home to roost for you one day, there in your own life. You'll find that others choose not to respect your sovereignty. That's what you're creating by not respecting others. Much of what appears before us in this life we created but many lifetimes ago. Things go round in cycles. Everything in cosmos is cyclic. Thus, we wind our way up the spiral of life and light or down. Each step unlocks certain energies that may have been created a long time ago. Can you know this? Can you own this? Can you at least entertain the possibility that things work this way? Let's go on. Many reject as external to themselves the happenings in their life. They say, well, that's other people. That's other people's actions. That's nothing of my own. And they're short-sighted and don't see it. If it wasn't your creation, then it wouldn't appear in your life, in your vision. Hello? Can you hear this? Can you see? Can you open up and own this? That's what I'm working on. Take a new perspective on your life there. Maybe there's a few things we don't yet know. It's our beliefs, our own vision that limits us. Let's let our first deconstruction on our reality be of our old vision, old ways of seeing things. Let's just let them go. Let's take some of the mortar out that holds things together the old way. Moving on. Okay, now, if you accept and recognize the self as having far more lifetimes than just a few, now excuse me, I just lost my place. It's kind of hard with these lights in your eyes, you know, quite a glare. Okay, accept the self as having far more lifetimes than just this one. How does that open up your vision? Do you see how you acknowledge much more of self, much more as self now? Even though you may not have indulged in a certain behavior in this life, that's nothing. You have absolutely, no doubt, indulged it in previous lifetimes. Come on now, you're an old soul, or you wouldn't be with this blog. You've been around the block a few times. Let this in. Let this possibility in, anyway. Now, let's look at that life of yours there once again. Let's look at the happenings, the circumstances you've been resisting, where you've been blaming or pointing the finger at others for their behavior or attitude or something. What does that look like now? Are you in heart? If you are, then you can let what you see morph a good bit. You can see it changing, taking on a new perspective. Can you see yourself there in those others? If you look hard, you can. So what if you never behave that way in this life? Let that go. What has that got to do with bloody anything? That is you there. Life is the mirror for you. Life is nothing if not showing you yourself. And I know, I hear you, it's a lot to take in. Don't force yourself. That doesn't help. Don't beat up on yourself. None of that. Just take in what you can. Be kind. Be gentle to you, but be firm. Don't run away from what you see. It's talking to you. Life has all this time been having a conversation with us, one we've chosen to largely ignore. Sure, if we see an 11-11, a 12-12, or other serendipitous happenings, things in threes, we'll take note of it. We're beginning to hear just a bit. Still, life has been talking all along. We just chose to externalize, to place that outside of the self. In that way, we weren't listening, weren't able to hear. And yes, I know this is shocking. Perhaps I'll stop here. I could go on forever, it seems. There's much more inside ready to come out. I do want to give you some time with this, though. As we take up a perspective from heart, we can see deeply that which has been quite invisible up to now. It also helps that we're deconstructing total reliance on mind, and that's a big part of this. Until we do that, we're not getting all the way into heart. It just can't be done. And this is heart vision. Good day then. I'll go on to a part 2 of this journal, but I'm hopeful you'll simply sit a while looking from heart at your life. With this new vision, you'll begin to see how everything out there could really be you, could have deep relevance to self. Excuse me. It's not really an external world, you know. This is an early step in deconstructing, reconstructing that building, the image of self.